Are you saving too much for retirement? Most people don't ask this question, but it could be hurting your freedom with money right now. We will show you 4 surprising signs that you may be saving too much for your old age in this video. Are you giving up the fun you're having now for a future that you know will be safe? Watch to find out if your retirement plan is still on track or if you need to make some changes. 1. You have no idea what you're doing. It is not our intention to be sarcastic when we say that this is the first indication that you might be saving too much for your retirement. It is a hard and basic truth that you do not know what you do not know, and this is true with regard to everything, including retirement planning. How are you supposed to determine whether or not you have sufficient funds saved for retirement? That is a question that a great number of individuals are completely fixated on. The response that you provide to that question is going to be different from the responses that your friends, neighbors, or coworkers give to the same subject. You need to have a financial plan that is suited to your requirements, wants, and wishes. We could go on and on with that list, but the most important thing to take away from it is that you deserve to have one. In order for individuals to have a clear understanding of whether or not they have saved sufficient funds for retirement, we strongly recommend that they start the process of financial planning at least 10 to 15 years before they want to retire. Obtain a copy of our retirement plan checklist in order to acquire additional information regarding the factors that should be kept in mind when planning for retirement. Despite the fact that you have accumulated sufficient funds for retirement, do you continue to work? Our consultants have had numerous encounters with individuals who have not begun planning that far in advance. These encounters have been placed on numerous times. The manner in which individuals save money may need to be modified in certain circumstances in order for them to be able to achieve their retirement objectives. However, there are also situations in which individuals have more than enough money for retirement and are able to retire whenever they choose. Seeing the relief on people's faces when something like that occurs is a pleasant experience for our advisors. However, what if they had begun planning prior to that happening? Consider the memories that those individuals might have missed out on being able to experience because they were unaware that they had already saved enough money for retirement. Instead, they worked for a longer period of time than was necessary simply due to the fact that they lacked the clarity that comes from having a financial strategy. 2. Fear. Consequently, this brings us to the next indication that you might be saving too much for retirement, which is dread. Individuals may find it really challenging to acquire the self-assurance to retire because they are concerned about the possibility of running out of money. This anxiety can originate from a wide variety of factors, including but not limited to inflation, the expense of healthcare, tax rates, and the current state of the economy, to name just a few examples. Only 23% of Americans, according to the Pew Research Center, consider the current state of the economy in the United States to be excellent or good on. In contrast, 36% of people believe that the economic situation in the United States are dismal. Putting your financial plan through the struggle. Due to the fact that you do not have control over the elements that we have just listed, the fear that is caused by them can continue to build and become more intense. On the other hand, you can make preparations for each and every one of them. The clarity that could be gained from a financial plan, as was discussed before, can be brought to the forefront through the use of stress testing. We put our financial plan through a stress test by comparing it to a number of different economic cycles that have occurred in the past. This allows us to determine how well it will function in times of high inflation, high healthcare costs, high tax rates, and other adverse economic conditions. Following the completion of the stress test that we will perform on your plan using our financial planning tool, you will be provided with a likelihood of success that will anticipate your odds of reaching and surviving retirement without ever having to make any adjustments to your spending. Take, for instance, the scenario in which your plan has an 85% chance of being successful. That does not imply that there is a 15% chance that your plan will fail. That means there is a 15% risk that you may have to make a temporary adjustment to the amount of money you spend. One possible reason for people to acquire a defensive mindset is the fear that they would run out of money during their retirement years. They will become so preoccupied with saving for retirement that they will not allow themselves to spend, even if they have a plan that allows them to do so. Instead, they will be so focused on saving for retirement. 3. How frequently do you and your spouse discuss financial matters? This question is directed toward all of the married people and couples out there. Generally speaking, one partner is far more at ease with spending money than the other partner is. The focus of this post has been on indicators that you might be saving too much for retirement, despite the fact that it is essential to have a budget that is within your abilities. Do you continue to put money down for your retirement, even when you already have enough? In that case, it can be an indication of greed. What is it that motivates you to continue saving? Once more, this is the reason why it is essential to have a financial plan in order to prevent feelings like fear and grief from influencing the decisions you make regarding your retirement planning. 4. A lack of a healthy work-life balance. Keep in mind that the asset that is the most valuable to you will not necessarily be the one that is the most valuable to you. This may be your home or your employer's retirement plan. Timing is the most valuable asset you possess. A lack of a healthy work-life balance is the third indication that you are putting away an excessive amount of money for retirement. According to the Retirement Happiness Study conducted by MassMutual, 78% of retirees report that they have either more than they require or approximately what they require in terms of retirement savings. We would want to express our gratitude to those individuals for their conscientious efforts to save for retirement. Yet it is concerning that the majority of those individuals believe that they have saved more than is required. How much of your identity is connected to the job that you do? If you are concerned that you will not have the funds to make it through retirement and beyond, you should make sure that you do not continue working for longer than is necessary. When you do that, you are giving up valuable time that you could be spending with the people you love doing the things that you love doing. Take this into consideration if you get the impression that your work-life balance is not where it should be, because it may be an indication that you are saving too much for your retirement. Taking your job seriously is essential, but there is a narrow line to walk when it comes to maintaining a healthy work-life balance. When you consider your identity, how much of it is connected to the employment that you have? If you work so hard, do you find that you are missing out on the opportunity to make priceless memories with your loved ones and friends? If you have many weeks or months of paid time off, you should take advantage of it. During that time, you should focus on the activities that are most essential to you. At the same time as you are making preparations for retirement, it is essential to keep in mind that you are not simply leaving your professional position. When it comes to retirement planning, saving money is only one component. Where are you planning to retire to? Take a moment to reflect on that question if you were unable to provide an answer. Perhaps you won't believe it, but boredom can swiftly engulf a person's retirement period. In this case, it may be an indication that you have saved an excessive amount of money for retirement. But by the time you understand this, it is already too late. Have you been pending the realization of your dreams? It is also important to make it clear that this message is not only intended for individuals who are getting close to retirement age. Let's imagine you are 50 years old, but you don't intend to retire till you are 65 years old. Perhaps you are putting off something as simple as going on a trip with your family because you are worried about not having enough money for retirement. Because of this, you need to devise a financial strategy that places a high priority on things like taking vacations with your family and other goals that are significant to you. Ensure that you've had a strategy in place to ensure that you are not putting away an excessive amount of money for your retirement. Don't miss out on more insightful tips and advice. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to stay informed about all things finance. Join our community of savvy savers and investors on the path to financial freedom.